You are not Bob the Builder. You're more a Tim the Toolman than Bob the Builder. From Home Improvement. Oh? No? Oh my God. Tim the Toolman. No, is that Scooby? Shaggy? Let's get some. No, that's yeah, you better. Let's get some picnic basket. Okay. That's Tim the Toolman from Home Improvement. Tim Allen is the comedian who plays Tim the Toolman. Yeah. Anyway, yes, he did that as well. Okay. Home Improvement ran for a few years, but anyway. All right. So what we're doing is we're going to complete the square. Now, when we have factorized perfect squares in the past, do you remember how we factorized them? Not with a perfect square. If I put up a perfect square, I'll just write one up here. So let's say x squared plus 18x plus 81. Okay? And we had to factorise that. Now, what I asked you to do was try and recognise that that is a perfect square. Now, how did you have to do that?
You had to find the last number of the square and the last number.
That's a square, correct?
Yeah.
That's a square, correct?
Yeah, that's a square.
Okay, so what would you say that the factorised version of that would look like?
No, x plus 9. Square.
Excellent, because you found the square root of that. Okay, now I'm going to refer to this red bit here. Notice that 9 is half of 18.
It says notice that 3 is up.
I know, I'm referring, I'm not repeating. Notice that 9 is half of 18. 9 is half of 18.
Yeah.
If you multiplied 9 by 2, you'd get 18.
That's just crazy. How do you know?
If you had 18 people and pushed 9 of them off a building, you'd have 9 left.
No.
Cool. That's this bit here. That's that bit in the middle. Okay? We have that a squared, we have that b squared. So we had the x squared and we had the 81. Now in the middle we have 2 times the product of those two. So 2 times 9 times x gave us 18x. Happy with that? I'm going to assume from the noise that you're happy with that. Excellent. That's going to come in handy. So here we have a situation where we have x squared plus 6x. Is there a common factor you can pull out?
X.
You could pull out x, but I'm going to recommend that you don't, because then you'll be left with x plus 6. 3 doesn't go into both of them. One's a waste of our time.
4. No, 2. 9.
Not really, is my answer. Cool. What we're going to do instead is we're going to complete the square.
Yes.
We're going to do a thing called completing the square. What that means... Sorry? Good. Then listen. That would be awesome. 954. 954. We are going to complete the square. In other words, we're going to turn it into a perfect square. Okay? Well, we don't need to. At the moment, we've got x squared plus 6x. Okay? Now, what we need to do, because you know that normally there would be something. Wow. Click on the right thing.
So would it be x squared?
There'd be something down there.
X, and then 6 squared?
No, if the 36 was at the end, then yes, that's what it would be. But we don't have that. So, but the way you're thinking is absolutely correct. But we don't have the 36 at the end. We don't have anything at the end. But we've got the 6x in the middle. So based on the fact that that is a 6x, not the 12x that you wanted, what do you reckon the number would be here? He said 3. Anyone agree? Daniel agrees. It would be half of the 6 squared, which means it would be 9. The 3 was correct, but you had to square it. It would be 3 squared. Is that what you were thinking, though? That's you halve that to get it? Yeah. So what we've got is a situation where I am completing this perfect square. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I had x squared plus 6, and I'm completing it by adding the 9. Now, the one problem I have is that oh no, there is. I'm just looking at what they've done and just seeing. Oh, okay. I'll get rid of the equal sign. They're doing it like that at the moment. Okay. I'll get rid of the highlight too so you can actually read it. All right, so we've got x squared plus 6x plus 9. So you guys have worked it out, but what I want to do is step through how you worked it out. Okay, we are in the form of a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. What's a in this case? Just x? Cool. Do we know what b is at the moment? Do we know what 2ab equals? 6x. Which that means, if I take away the 2a, if I divide both sides by 2a, b has to equal 3. Does that make sense? X is x. X is the a. Yeah. So you could also divide by a and just be left with 2b equals 6. Cool? So b equals 3. And therefore, b squared equals 9. And that's where that came from. Which...
So is that one of the ones that you talked about before when people get confused with the A and the X?
Yeah. So that's what we've got. We completed the square by adding 9 to it. Cool?
Yeah.
Which we would then be able to show is factorized as x plus 3 all squared. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Now, this is where the red bit comes in. Notice that 3 is half of 6.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? If that was 8, which means that would be what? Considering it's b squared. 16. If that was 24, then b would be what? Which means that would be 144. See how it's starting to halve that and you work out what b is. Now you've just got to be careful because sometimes you'll have a non-monic there but not for quite a while. All good?